Welcome back to Beneath the Cobblestones, Prague's Darkest Secrets. I'm your host, Rhys, and tonight we're peeling back the layers of a mystery that never made international headlines. But in the Czech underground, it's a ghost story that never quite faded. This is the tale of a woman who vanished without a trace during a time when vanishing wasn't a glitch in the system, it was the system. Her name was Petra Janů. Not the singer. This Petra was 32, a soft-spoken radio technician living alone in a modest apartment in the Žižkov district. She had no criminal record, no known enemies, kept to herself. She liked poetry, especially the works of Jury Orten, grew a few tomatoes and herbs on her tiny balcony, and had a habit of walking Prague's side streets late at night. It was those walks that her neighbours said they remembered most. She'd walk with her coat buttoned tight, her hands in her pockets, always with an earbud in one ear. Some thought she was listening to the state radio, others weren't so sure. She disappeared on November 14th, 1983. That date might not ring any bells, but it came only days after the regime began intensifying its surveillance of internal broadcasters. Petra, it turns out, had access to more than just static and frequencies. She was responsible for maintaining off-hours transmissions, internal communications between the Ministry of Information and state-controlled radio outlets. That meant she might have overheard some very private things. According to her sister, Petra had been acting paranoid for months. She'd stopped walking alone, started asking if anyone had been by the apartment while she was out. On October 22nd, she told her sister she'd intercepted a short transmission that mentioned something called Kanal Rusalka. There are no official records of that frequency, not from the ministry, not from the archives. It's as if it never existed. But what was Kanal Rusalka? No one knows. The phrase translates roughly to mermaid channel, but insiders speculate it was a code name for an internal purging protocol, cleaning house when loose ends got too tangled. Petra told a friend, a studio engineer at the station, that she believed she was being followed by a man in a long coat with a limp. Classic Cold War cliché, right? Except this man showed up at her apartment building waiting outside in the rain. 3 separate neighbours reported seeing him. One even described his car, a Tatra 613, the kind usually reserved for party officials or the STB. On the night she vanished, Petra had dinner with her sister, beef goulash and dumplings. She left around 8:15 p.m. and said she was going to make a late run to the broadcast tower. She never arrived, she never made it home. Her apartment door was locked from the inside. The radio was still playing, her tea had gone cold, her cat hadn't been fed, a single tomato plant on the balcony had been knocked over. It took 3 days for anyone to report her missing. When her sister went to the police, they brushed her off, claimed Petra was likely having an affair and had run off. They said this while staring at a photo of Petra holding her cat. She wasn't the runaway type. She didn't own a passport, didn't like crowds. She didn't even have a boyfriend. Her sister pushed harder and eventually convinced a sympathetic desk officer to log the case. Weeks passed, nothing, until December, when a janitor at the radio building found Petra's ID card tucked inside a wall panel, still clean, still laminated. The oddest part, the maintenance report for the week listed no access to that floor, no work orders, no scheduled inspections. The wall where it was found, it was freshly sealed the next day. No explanation, no trace, just cement over mystery. In 1992, after the Velvet Revolution, Petra's sister once again petitioned to reopen the case. The new government had opened thousands of secret police files for public review, but Petra's gone. Not missing, deleted. Not even a code number left behind. It's like she never worked for the radio, like she never existed. There's a persistent rumor among Prague's urban explorers that beneath the city, especially around Letna and Žižkov, lies an abandoned Cold War listening post. Tunnels with glass-windowed rooms, rusted control boards, even restraints bolted into the floor. These aren't old war bunkers. These were built after the Prague Spring. These were for ghosts like Petra. One witness, an ex-city engineer turned drunk storyteller, swears he found a notebook in one of those tunnels, pages full of frequency logs, and one phrase, written over and over again: Kanal Rusalka lives. The man tried to turn the notebook over to the press. He died in a car crash 2 weeks later, single car, no brakes. The notebook was never found. Petra Janů didn't make the news, no vigils, no posters, but among Prague's independent broadcasters, she became a quiet symbol of what happens when the wrong frequency slips into the wrong ears. Her name is never spoken on air, but some believe her voice still lives inside the static, that if you tune into the right dead frequency and you wait long enough, you'll hear her repeating the last message she tried to deliver, a coded message that no one's cracked to this day. Next time on Beneath the Cobblestones, the legend of the Iron Gallows, an execution site from Prague's darkest medieval days, and the curse that may have followed its chains into the modern era. Until then, listen carefully, and if the radio speaks your name, don't answer.